Hi, it's Mal, your gal pal, the host of Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. If you're looking for a podcast that's talking about relationship, careers, and pop culture from the Christian perspective, look no further. You have found her. And this podcast, myself and some of my friends are sharing our opinions from the Christian perspective, and they might be a little bit different than what you're expecting. So go ahead, pour yourself some tea. Let's get into it. The views expressed on this podcast are our own and do not reflect our employers. Enjoy. Hello. Hello. This is Mal, your gal pal. Pour yourself some tea because we have a lot to get into today. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time listening to Those Are the Girls, like I said, I'm Mal, your gal pal, and this podcast talking about life, career, relationships, and pop culture from the Christian perspective. And I think you're going to like it. I actually have a lot to talk about today. I'm super excited for you guys to hear some opinions I have and for us to get into the story. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well as on Apple Podcasts. Leave questions or comments or whatever on Spotify, and make sure you join the email list. I'm going to be emailing a little bit more. I'm going to be doing a little bit more things offline, which I'll do an episode on that soon. But yeah, make sure you do all of that. So I guess let's just get into it. We're going to be talking about a pop culture heavy episode, but also I have some new segments, and you guys let me know if you like the segments. So I'm going to start each episode, ideally now, every teacap. This is what this is called, a teacap. Grab your tea. This is a cute mug my friend got me for Valentine's Day. Grab your tea, because here's some things. We're just hopping right into it. Oh, a little bit over a minute into the episode, and we're just like hopping right on in. I'm going to give a hot take, and I have had this hot take, and I've been wanting to talk about this for a really long time, and I'm like really hyping it up, but it is a hot take, especially in like the Christian community. Yeah. Okay. So this is my hot take. A lot of people online have Christian conservative, right of center, influencer moms, married women have been doing these videos where people are saying, they're like adding commentary to a video of a woman saying that she unfollows other women when they get pregnant or when they have a baby. And they're like, yeah, see how the world hates women who are married and have children. The world just hates children. The world just hates family. And my hot take is I don't blame them. And if I don't know you personally, I do too. So let me explain. I don't hate women. I desire to be married. I don't hate children. I have wanted children my entire life. But I personally, and it's nothing against people when they do get married and have kids, but personally, that's not the season I'm in. And if I'm following you, I'm kind of trying to follow people who are in similar seasons. Like, that's more of what I want to look at right now. And then one day, if I do get married, I'll probably refollow. Like, there's like 2 influencers that I used to follow that I really liked. Really great Christian women. It was even a podcast I used to listen to, but like I just stopped because all they talked about was like being a wife and a mother. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I personally don't want to hear it. So yeah, sometimes people do unfollow people when they do get married, because sometimes they make it that their whole content, which once again, there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes that's not necessarily what you want to hear. And that's okay. Or if they get pregnant, that's like all of their content, and they become a mom and like that's their whole focus, which is fine. There's literally nothing wrong with that. But sometimes that's just not what you are interested in. And I think it's okay. I think it's okay for you to unfollow them. I don't think you hate women. I don't think, and it's also kind of strange that like these women who are making these videos and saying all this stuff are taking it so personally. Like, you don't have to take it that personally. That's just a decision that someone has made, and that's okay. For example, like that's a decision that I have made. Like I said, there are people who I have straight up just stopped following because I, am no longer interested in their content, and their content is literally just them talking about their husband and their marriage and their kids and all the things that they're doing with their kids, because that's just not the season of life that I'm in. And like I said, there's a particular podcast I stopped listening to because that is all that they talk about. And there's nothing wrong with that. So if you're listening and you're like, you know what, I've been wanting to do that, but I don't want it to come off, who cares? Like, your podcast feed should be things that are like encouraging and good and filling you up. And here's something else too. This is just like a side note I just thought of too. If you are constantly being bombarded with, videos and, pictures of all these happy, shiny families of people who have all these things that you desire and you just don't have yet, it can make you sad. So then just don't follow them. Like, it's your account. You follow and do whatever you want. Now, people who you know personally, like I won't unfollow friends I know personally, because like I care about them and I don't know, I just people I know personally, it doesn't get to me like others. So don't do that. But it's okay. Like people taking it so personally, it's crazy. All I have to say, so my hot take is it is okay to unfollow someone once they get married or once they start having kids and their content is no longer serving you. That's okay. That's my hot take. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Is that something that you have thought about? Is it something that you've done? Is it something that do you still think it's like wrong for women to do that? Let me know. Leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify. All right, so that is the Mal's hot take of the week. Okay, let us get into some of the stories today. So the first one is something I have got to share my opinion on. Like it is like in me, like it's inside of me, and I'm just like I've got to share it. Okay, the Summerhouse drama, and this article is from USA Today. Scandal 2.0: Why Summerhouse stars are stoking controversy. Another scandal has rocked the Bravoverse. Summerhouse castmates Amanda Batula and Wes Wilson confirmed a rumored romance on Tuesday, March 31st, shocking fans of the series, now in its 10th season. Wilson previously dated fellow castmate Sierra Miller, once a close confidant of Batula's. Further complicating matters, Batula in January announced her separation from husband Kyle Cook, another housemate on the Bravo's reality series. The current series captures their turbulent final season as a couple. All right, so let me explain what is going on. First, I want to say I have never watched a day of Summerhouse, but I listen to a podcast, and my close personal friends, Jackson, Claude, JK. I don't know them in real life, but I listen to them every day. I do enjoy listening to their podcast. They host a podcast called The Toast. Highly recommend if you have not started it. And they watched Summerhouse and they kind of broke it down. And what I want to talk about is the girls' perspective on this. But let me explain to you what happened, because I just have that article kind of like summarizing it. And then I'm going to give you some backstory and explain everything. Okay, so Summerhouse, for those that do not know, is this show similar to, I guess you could say, like the Jersey Shore, where they get a bunch of people to live in the house during the summer. It's following them. They're drinking, they're partying, they're going about their life, and like it just follows them. And there are the 4 players, really 3, but I'll say 4. 4 players are Amanda. Amanda was one of the women that is involved in this, and she was married to Kyle. But Amanda is also best friends with Sierra. They've been best friends for years. They're super close. They're girls. They're like BFFs. And then Sierra dated Wes. Wes is also friends with Kyle, but Wes and Sierra, they dated. And let me stop doing the hand thing. Wes and Sierra dated. And it was like a really big deal to Sierra. Apparently there was an episode where she kind of expressed like she doesn't sleep with people often, and she slept with Wes, and it was like this really big thing. And the fact that they're not together, like, that's not how she planned things. One girlies, like, we've been there, maybe not necessarily slept with someone, but like you've made out, you like poured your heart out to someone, and then all of a sudden, like, it's just not working out. These things happen. So that is the setup. Now, Wes and Sierra break up. Amanda and Kyle break up. Just recently, they have been spotted together because Sierra and Amanda, I'm sorry, when I say they, Amanda and Wes. Remember, Wes is Sierra's ex-boyfriend. I'm sorry. I said I'm supposed to stop doing the finger thing. Remember, Wes is Sierra's ex-boyfriend, and Amanda is Sierra's best friend. So Amanda and Wes have been seen together. People are like, oh, no, that can't possibly be. The podcast I'm listening to, the girls are like, oh, this is like fake rumors. I can't believe people are saying these things. It was just so shocking to them that this would happen. Because, once again, Sierra and Amanda are best friends. I cannot stress that enough. So Amanda and Wes are seen together and denied, or like not, like silence. And then I guess you could say all hell broke loose. People started unfollowing each other. And then, you know, there were statements put out. I'm going to read the statement. So Amanda and Wes both posted this statement on their Instagram. We've seen the growing online speculation, so while this is still very new, we wanted to provide some clarity. It was never our intention to purposely hide anything. Given the complicated relationship dynamics involved and the scrutiny that comes with being on a reality show, we need a little space to process things privately before speaking on it. We've shown up for each other as friends over the years, through all the highs and lows, and what's developed recently was the last thing either of us expected. Our connection grew out of genuine, long-standing friendship, which made it especially important for us to approach this with care. As our feelings evolved, we wanted to take time to understand exactly what we were feeling. We also recognized that this has had an impact beyond just us, and never wanted our actions to cause any hurt or be perceived as careless. We truly appreciated the understanding and respect as we navigate this. Well, and now let's discuss. So it's also important to know all four parties involved, Amanda, Kyle, Sierra, Wes, are, before this moment, were all single. At the time of whenever things went down, it appears everybody was single. It's important to note that as well. That's just like another factor in there. So I want to talk about this really from like the girl's perspective. Your best friend's ex-boyfriend, who you could tell she really loved, she was really into, meant a lot to her, is single. And you guys were all friends, and now you guys are together. I don't see a world where that happens. I don't see a world where that's possible. I don't see why someone would do that. It is very strange to me, girls that have this mentality of like, I can have any boy is mine, without kind of, I think it's also something very immature and not thinking things through, not thinking about something outside of themselves. And it's nobody, I don't think any of my friends in real life listen to this, but if you do, like, it's just like crazy timing. If you can, you catch my drift, wink, wink. Crazy timing, because another thing that I've been thinking about when it comes to girls who do things like this is the aspect of like really desiring a man's attention. And online, on TikTok in particular, we hear all the time people come on and say things about male-centered women. And, you know, sometimes it'll be something as simple as like a male-centered woman, she lets a man open the door for her, and like, you know, she doesn't want to pay the bill. It's something super simple that's like, you know, not the big of a deal. But a real male-centered woman will do things and try to make sure that everything around her life revolves around a man, and at the detriment to other women. To me, that is what a male-centered woman is. And there are women out there like that. And something I'm noticing over the years of maturity, growth, and having, you know, seen in my own personal life some things, a lot of those women also are the same women who have a hard time making friends. Because once you do things like this, once you have made it clear that men are the priority, other women don't really want to be around you. And I think that sometimes when we hear people say the term male-centered women, some of us kind of get like a little like, because like, you don't hate men. I don't hate men. I love men. If I ever say anything negative about a man, I'm not talking about the ones I know. I'm talking about people online, 9 times out of 10. But anyway, and when I'm talking about, anyway, so there's that aspect of it. But I think that it's something real. And I think that's something just like also to consider when you're meeting new people, when you're making friends. It's just like clocking that type of behavior, because if you don't clock that type of behavior, a lot of times it will come out, like it'll manifest like this type of male-centeredness, this type of idea that like, you know, it's whatever, like who cares that there's these lines, and like who cares, like this is your friend. What's also interesting is like this woman is beautiful. She could probably be with pretty much any other guy she wanted to. So why be with the friend? Like why be with your friend's ex that was a recent ex that I haven't seen the show, but it does appear as if she's not over him. As a matter of fact, she unfollowed them, and like, it's this whole thing. So like, clearly she wasn't over them. And if you guys are best friends, you already know this. So it's just like a really interesting dynamic, for lack of a better word. And I think that women like this are just It's just not, it's not good. Like, you don't do that to your friends. I don't know. Like, it's just something very clear. There are rules and there are lines that you just don't cross with your friends. And you don't have to necessarily call yourself a girl's girl to not be like that. I think you just have to call yourself like a decent friend. Because at the end of the day, friendships, to me, friendships are so important. Finding your person is absolutely the most important. The most important relationship you will have, other than with God, is with your spouse. So that is important. And I know a lot of people, with when you think of that, they think, well, that means anything goes, anything's important. I can do any and everything. And I got to make sure that I find this person. And I think that that is so short-sighted, because your friendships are also what helps sustain you. Those are what's going to help push you through. That your community is what is going to help you when you're sick. Your spouse can too, but sometimes you need more than just the spouse when it comes to certain things. Your community is going to help you when you're sick. Your community is going to help you if that boy that you have chosen, hopefully you're not married yet, but like you said, you chose this boy and then he breaks up with you. Who's going to be there for you? It's going to be your friends. So I think like your friendships are so important. And like, I value my friendship so much. Like, friendship is like super important to me. And especially like those of us who are single, that is like our, for lack of a better word, our lifeline. That's what we have. That is what we hold on to. That is our connection to the world. And I think that if you are, when you are around girls like this, it's not good. And I think that if you have decided that, I must find my person at all costs, no matter what, I would just really encourage you to just like take a step back, because the reality is like she could have been with someone else. Like, it's not, I don't know this guy. Now, I don't know if the exact wording was, let me see. The exact wording was, sorry, take me a second to pull it up, was this is still very new. It was never our intention to purposely hide anything given the complicated relationship. Let's see. Our feelings evolved. We take time to understand. Like, this doesn't sound like this is like we're in love. We can't help it. My heart just beats for his existence. I can't eat, sleep, breathe without. That's not what it sounds like. It still would be wrong if that was it, but I think I would have a little bit more clarification on like why they felt as if that was what they had to do, if that was, their thoughts. But it really wasn't. So I mean, it's a mess. I just wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that to my friend at the end of the day. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't want to do that to my friend. And I think that it is wrong. I think that it is wrong. 9/11 is bad. No, but I wouldn't want to do that to my friend. And I think that if this is the type of character that someone has, I think it is important to clock it. And I think it's important to move accordingly. Another thing, is just something else I'm thinking, thinking out loud. And like I said, if you know me in real life, wink, wink, is so then what happens next to this person? Does the entire friend group shun them because they clearly don't have the same morals and values? Like, what happens next? I think that is just up to every individual. Like, if this is someone, like, for me at my age, I just don't have the time or the energy at this time. Maybe years from now I might, be able to, but like right now I just don't have the time and energy to be friends with someone who I'm going to always, have my head on a swivel, because I don't know if they can be trusted, if that's a lot of drama. I just don't have the time for that. So I personally could not be friends with girls who are like this right now. I think that, this also is time for girls, if you think that's something you would do, if you are like this, to take a minute and like reflect and how the kids say, be better. I think that this is not good. It's not good. It's not good. And I think that you work on you and like figure out like, why do I need this man's attention so badly? Why do I need any man's attention so badly? But this particular man, like, why do I need that? I think that's something to consider. Okay, and that's that on that. Let me know what you think. Is it okay? Technically, all four of them were single. There was no overlapping as far as we know. Even the two that were married at one point, there was no overlapping. Technically, all four of them were single. Do you think that kind of makes it okay? Do you think that? What do you think about girls, becoming boyfriend, girlfriend with their friends' exes? Do you think that's appropriate? Do you think that also he broke boy code? Because they were friends. Apparently, they weren't as close as Sierra and Amanda, but Wes and Kyle were close. They were friends. They weren't as close. So, like, is that still wrong too? If it's just like your friend, it's your boy, but not like your best friend. Like, is that still wrong too? Like, what do you guys think? Let's have this discussion. I also think it's a really good discussion to have, like, with your friend group and just kind of see, like, where does everybody stand on this? What do you think about this? So, yeah. Next story. Another story that I have, like, in my heart that I must discuss. Lamar and Chloe. They have there's a documentary out about Lamar, and we are learning some things that just yikes. So this is from page 6. Lamar Odom's real motive to marry Khloe Kardashian exposed, and more bombshells from the shocking Untold Netflix doc. Odom wanted to better his future through the marriage. On screen, Odom's childhood friend Anthony Pumpkin Booker recalls attending Odom and Khloe's televised wedding in 2009. At the time, Booker claimed Odom told him that, quote, the moves that he's doing, he was doing it to try to better his future because the Kardashians know people and have made connections. In the doc, Odom recalls what he saw in Khloe. Quote, I'm watching now. She lives their lifestyle. I'm like, this is how I want to live, end quote. Destiny 28, Odom's daughter from his childhood sweetheart, Liza Morales, appears on screen to say he did love Khloe, but he wanted to be on reality TV for a long time. I wanted to discuss that because there's a lot to unpack there. Number one, it's really interesting because pop culture watcher, I tried to watch the Kardashians, and I want to say at the very beginning, maybe I watched a couple episodes here and there. Girliest girl you'll ever meet. I love blah blah blah. I could not stand reality TV. I don't know why. I don't. To be honest, I think it's like I don't care. I don't know. I don't care. I mean, I care enough to like have these conversations about like what has gone on. I think there's like more to it than just like this person threw a drink on this person. So like I care from that perspective, but like, their everyday life, like I personally just don't care. And I don't mean that in a callous way. I just don't. I like to get my drama from like scripted shows, to be honest, if I'm being honest. So I saw episodes years in the past, and I think I've seen like a couple of Chrisley episodes once again years in the past, but like not recently. So I want to say Khloe and Lamar, from what I saw, I always was like, oh, I thought he was better for her than third trimester Tristan. But it just, I mean, this is awful. I cannot imagine, like, a couple of things. Number one, like, and they said this on the toast too, might have been an inside thought. I don't know if you need to share this. I don't know if this is important to share. I don't know if this needs to be shared. Like I said, inside thought. Inside thought, possibly. It's embarrassing. And I feel so bad for Khloe. Like, I think about, this is just a side note, and I'll get back to the topic. I think about this. She is one of the sisters. I think she's the youngest sister of the big three. So I think it's like Kourtney, Kim, Khloe. And there's like songs about how she's quote unquote the ugly Kardashian, which I hate that. She was bigger. She is the one, I feel like she has a uniquely different relationship. All of them have relationship drama, but I feel like hers is uniquely different for a myriad of reasons. She just seems to me like, I don't know, I just feel so bad for her. Like, I cannot imagine her self-esteem. I cannot imagine, like, especially like, and it's not like she looks so drastically different from them, but these are your sisters, and she was kind of, I hate to say, the odd one out, and I hate that so much. And I just can't imagine like what that does to your self-esteem. And then you end up hearing things like this by someone who's supposed to love you. Like, he really just wanted to be with you because of your lifestyle. Like, God, like, is we supposed to feel endearing to Lamar? I guess I need to watch the whole documentary because like just this clip, like just this section right here, it's just so awful. And then the next thing, it just kind of reminds me, like, we really, watch who you marry. Like, I mean, it's beyond me. Like, like, thinking about this, I'm just like, this is awful. This is absolutely awful. And it's embarrassing. He just liked her lifestyle. I can't imagine. And then she's sitting there. She's part of the documentary, too. Yeah, just a reminder to, like, your lifestyle. I think it also has to be hard too when you are famous in general, just to find genuine people. But I guess he's famous too, technically, because he won Sixth Man, so he was a basketball player. I guess, I mean, even those people, like even people who are in your same field, I guess, can also not be genuine because of, some of its character. Some of it's just part of like having not having a good character in general. But I'm sure it's hard. But I mean, this is just I when I heard this, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. He just wanted the lifestyle. And then it's also too like why it's important to use discernment, and it kind of goes back to like wanting the attention. Like once again, I don't want to sit here and diagnose Chloe. I don't know. From what I've seen and from what I've heard, I just can't imagine like how her self esteem. I mean, she's probably had to do a lot of work, but especially at that time, because I want to say this was still around the time when she was like, a little bit thicker, and people were. She was called the ugly Kardashian, like, the things like that. So I can't imagine like how her self esteem was at the time, but it's just like something to think about. Like, do you using discernment and like wanting the attention and like making sure we have something in us and like we have friends and community and people around us, a family who can like kind of call us out on stuff. And I don't know, I mean, Lamar could have been like perfect and like nobody knew, quote unquote perfect, and nobody knew, but like I'm just thinking like in real life, it's not going to be the same as like these people who live in a completely different world than we do in real life. Just kind of thinking about that and about like when you're in, you're trying to find someone and like just making sure you're using discernment and like does this person actually like me? If you're noticing like something simple as, we're at your house and all they want to do is just like play game, like they're not trying to get to know you better, or like they, you introduce them to people and all they want to do is like meet other people and never talk to you, things like that. Just noticing like the tiny subtle things just to make sure that like someone actually likes you, and also not to just give in to like the at least I'm being liked. And like I'm saying this, I'm also talking to myself because that's really hard, especially when, as we said, like in Christian worlds, a 25 plus, you're an old maiden if you're not married. So it's hard not to give into the like, well, at least I'm being liked. But, it goes back to no matter what, though, it's better to marry late than to marry wrong. Honestly, it's better not to marry at all than to marry wrong. It's better to marry late than to marry wrong. And I think that's like, whenever you go on a date and you meet a guy and like he's disrespectful, he is rude, he is, clout chaser, fame chaser, something like that, I think in the back of your head, your mind should start going, it's better to marry late than marry wrong. It's better to marry late than marry wrong. So yeah. My condolences to Chloe. Seriously, that's awful. And it's embarrassing. And I just I don't I don't know if I'd want you to say that. Yeah. I don't know if I want you to say that. So the last segment I'm gonna have. From now on. It's called Pour and Reflect. So one thing that I have been trying to do is like journal a lot more. I have gotten a little bit better. I have a junk journal and like just kind of writing down some thoughts and my feelings and just kind of reflecting on things. And at the end of every episode, I do want myself especially, and you guys just to kind of like think about some of the questions. Like I've come up with a couple questions that you can like journal about, and then or you can also like discuss with your friend, because that's the other thing too, like podcasts are super fun and they're more fun to listen to with your friends. I only have technically I only really have one other friend that listens to the toast, and I love it. I think she's behind, so like we haven't been able to like talk too much about it, but like it's so fun to listen and then like have a conversation about that podcast. That's what I want you guys to do. Okay, and here are I wrote them down. And here are some of the questions. One is, do I value loyalty and friendships the same way I expect others to? In other words, like, are your, like, the way you want people to treat you in a friendship, like the loyalty that they have towards you, are you also doing that as well? When you are with your friends, are you making sure that you are being the type of friend that you want them to be to you? What type of woman do you want to be in friendships and in relationships? Because this really, like relationship, friendships, that's really what this episode kind of has been about. And are you the type of woman that you want to be? I guess is really the juxt of the journal question is, are you the type of woman that you want to be? And I think that is like the age-old question, are you who you want to be and want to be around? Are you where you, and then if you are not, like, how do you get there? I guess that's the next thing. Like, if you are not the woman you want to be when you are with your friends, when you are in your relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, are you, like, what do you need to do? Like, what are the steps you need to take to become a better friend, to become a better partner to someone? So yeah, those are the questions that you can journal, that I'll be journaling as well, and that you can ask your friends. So pour some tea and reflect. Okay, that's the last one. I do also want to say, I meant to say this earlier, I have also been following along with, this is like the last of it. I've also been following along with the moon, with the flight to the moon. And I have seen so many TikToks about like women, especially who have wanted to be astronauts and like who work in aerospace, and just like how proud they are. And just, it's this girl I started following, that astro girly. And first of all, she's girly pop. She has pink and bows, stuff like that. She's an astrophysicist. She's astronomer. She's an astronomer. No, she's something with space. And I love it. I love it. There's also the girl, you guys have definitely seen her. She's like an astronaut Barbie. She has her daughter's name is Delta. Let me just pull up her name really quick. I just want to pull up, I'm just going to go astronaut Barbie. I want to say her because I really like her. She's pregnant right now. Oh, that's what's astronaut to the moon. Astronaut. I think her name is Kelly. This is just so if you guys are interested in following. And it's just so sweet and like okay, Kelly Gerardi. She's a research astronaut and payload specialist. She was a Time 100 creator and USA Today Women of the Year. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so happy for her. I just really love seeing women who are doing things that just aren't typically, that you don't think of a woman really being. Let's be calling this, when you think of an astronaut, I mean, I think of a woman, but like, what do you think of? I'm just joking. That's like a joke about a doctor. Like when you're thinking of a doctor. Anyway, I love that. And I love specifically when they're also girly about it, having glitter or pink, and like, because it's something that I always say is like, you do not have to give up your femininity. You do not have to give up the girly part of you. You don't have to give that up to be in certain male dominated fields, to be in male dominated space. You don't have to give that up, and you shouldn't give that up. You should still be a woman. You should still be treated like a lady. You should still be able to enjoy these things. And oh my goodness, I'll have to talk about another episode. The discourse around like pink, actually, whatever. I'm just going to talk about it here. It was that tweet that went viral. Here we go. Let me look this up really quick. And then we're seriously going to close because this just reminded me of that. There was a tweet that went viral. This girl who, her boyfriend gave her a wand to go and buy things with his credit card. There we go. And it says, guys, my boyfriend put his credit card in a magic wand and took me on a shopping spree for my birthday. And she's super cute. She has an adorable bag, a really cute jacket. People are like, sorry if this is infantilization. Wait, no, sorry. That's one I agree with. People were just like, I'm looking at some of these tweets that I saved. People were just like, oh, this is infantilization. Sorry. I don't know why I can't talk today. This is just, I hate when girls like turn their brain off and like they let boys, like they can't, they're da da da. And it's like, this is just enjoying. Like, if your boy, it's her birthday, he gave her his credit card. That's all that is to it. And put it in a wand because it's like silly, cutesy. A little trend I've seen a couple people do on TikTok. And like, honestly, if I had a boyfriend and like he wanted to give me money for something, like maybe I'd do the same thing. Like it's cute. Nothing big about it. So some of the tweets that I really liked, and something that I really I like hold on to as someone who, I've never had a no, pink is for girls type of phase, or like, no, I actually like blue because I felt bad about liking pink. I like pink, like from the moment of conception, I have liked the color pink. The moment I was in my mother's belly, I have loved the color pink. I love pink. Never a time I wavered on it. I never had that like feeling, you see all the time people online, and like I think maybe I've had like one or two people in real life say this too, where like they felt like they couldn't like the color pink because they wanted to be a little bit more, like they felt like it was childish or like it was too girly, and like boys might now they like the color pink. Never had that. So I don't get this feeling of like not wanting to do like quote unquote whimsical things, because there's other things too that I do that I know some of my friends are kind of like, okay, girly. And but it's just like, who cares? Like, seriously, like, who cares? Some of the tweets that I really liked: it's really weird how women can't have fun, wear pink, love cute things, or even wear a tiara on their own birthday without being accused of being an age player. Also, fun fact, every year on my birthday, I always wear a crown. And I actually wore a crown every year to school until 10th, on my birthday, till 10th grade. I had switched to another school. And that, I will say, I was like feeling like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. But all the way through elementary, middle school, freshman year, I wore a tiara to school on my birthday. Because, like, why not? This is one that was really funny. It's like, I'm sorry, but if this is infantilization, then Google Gaga, I'm a baby. I love being treated and spoiled. Same. And this, I really think, this is kind of like, then I'll really wrap it up. This tweet: it's ridiculous that women can't be hyper feminine, cutesy, or enjoy things from their childhood without others assuming she's trying to infantilize herself or is an age play weirdo. I'm grown as heck, yet I still love Hello Kitty, Tinkerbell, MLP, etc., and I don't care. I don't know what MLP is, but Hello Kitty is Barbie for me. Tinkerbell, that's mermaids for me. So I think this is like the crux of it, like hyper feminine and cutesy, and enjoy things without people turn into something else. And this is something that I feel like I see a lot, especially online and low key sometimes in real life, is people deciding like something sweet and innocent. It's this big crazy thing that's like, you're like, people read into things. And I, I'm not trying to brag, but like I really don't do that. And especially like, this also reminds me of, also too, there was this tweet going around where this woman's like, there's always so many cherries on kids stuff, like, and people act like it's not sexualizing the cherries on kids stuff. Not like it. Honestly, I'm reading this, I'm like, cherries on kids stuff. What on earth could that mean? And I'm like trying to think, and then I'm like trying to read the comments. What is she with cherries on? How is this like sexual? Like, what's sexual about cherries? And I finally read, and the idea of popping a cherry, whatever, right? I have never been someone who like read into things like that. Like even simple common things that like, I have some friends that, well, but I've just never been like that. And I used to be like, maybe I should like start. Actually, no. After seeing how some of you people act, no. I'm going to continue to like think positively, like think the more positive side of some things and like not read into them. Because the more you guys do it, the crazier you sound. And honestly, the less like whimsical and fun you get to have in life. And I'm not trying to live like that. I'm not trying to be like you people. So I just, I just also want to say, like, if you are hyper feminine, cutesy, girly, first of all, you have found your friend, you have found the right place. If you are like into that stuff, like, this is the podcast for you. Follow my personal page, Mal Your Gal Pal. But like, there's nothing wrong with you. That's not strange. That's just who you are. And it's always so weird when people turn into something else. And to end it, I want to read this other tweet. This person took a picture of a pink iPad and she captioned it, "Trigger warning, capitalism, gifting, birthdays, and infantilization. My husband got me a pink iPad." And I just thought that was so funny. So yeah, so that was a tangent that I did not think I was going to go on, but like it's really, really like something I think about, and I'm like proud of, like being fun and girly, whimsical, and like not caring about those things and just letting it all go. I'm going to a ball, celestial ball, at a oh wow, which also connects to the space. At an not an aquarium. Wow, why am I blanking? Oh my goodness, planetarium. Wow, that was weird. So I'm going to a celestial ball at a planetarium where you wear gowns, and like I'm gonna do jewelry, and then I'm gonna probably do something really cool with my makeup and like something with my hair, and I'm just so excited for that. Like, go do those things, have fun, go out, be free, wear the pink, wear the tiara, and just do it. Who cares what other people think? Go out there and do it. And while you're doing that, make friends and don't date your friends' exes. And then also, while you're doing that, make sure that you are following people who are making you happy, who are like bringing you joy on your timeline. And then also, while you're doing that, make sure that the boy that you end up marrying actually loves you for you and does not want you for fame. And if you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and share it, like it, comment, do all of the things. I appreciate you listening and have a good day, night, evening, however, wherever you're listening. Bye.